Good morning. Let's dial in the details. Foam roller, trigger point ball, both great tools. They work a little bit different. This just spreads out the pressure just a little bit on the foam roller, so it allows for a wider margin of distribution of pressure. It really is a great tool to just help with, we call them adhesions sometimes, but they're really not adhesions. It's really just an upregulated area of tissue. And so that gentle pressure of the foam roller can help with fluid and hydration of tissue and just allow the tissue to accept hydration and fluid. It also can just help take away little points of tension within the muscle. And so you don't want to beat yourself up with the foam roller. You want to use it as a tool to kind of do this full body scan and just really be able to identify any areas of tightness. It really is a great tool to show you what's and help you understand what's happening in the body. So if you're coming in on Monday morning mobility, 9.5 days out of 10, I'm going to start with the foam roller down at the lower leg. If the feet ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So let's get a little bit of pressure right below the big calf muscle, right at that musculotendinous joint down in the lower leg. And we're not really rolling per se. We're just using gentle pressure of the tool. And so just being able to drag the skin across nice and easy. Now, we also want to look a little bit at foot function. So let's go ahead and get both feet onto the foam roller, a little bit of gentle pressure right below the calf muscle, and we're just going to point and flex the toes and try to match the right and the left side. So dorsiflex, we pull the toes towards the shins, plantar flex, we point the toes. Just nice and easy through the toes. One of my friends that I play golf with just got a new knee, and one of the most important things I have her doing is the alphabet with the right foot and the left foot. So even though she got a new knee on the left side, and we should be focusing on the left side, you don't want to neglect the right side too. So one of these really good tools is, if I had time today, I would do the alphabet and just be able to consciously control the movement of the foot. And it's just a really good nerve exercise. You can call it flossing, you can call it lots of different things. I'm a strength coach, so for me it's just neurological control. All right, let's take it all the way up to the hips. We're going to use the hand to just unload just a little bit of pressure. And again, we're just using pressure to add a little bit of opportunity for hydration. And I say opportunity because if you're low, if your blood volume's low and you're dehydrated, you spent the weekend training, or just maybe even sitting at a movie film festival and not drinking water or moving, then your tissue is going to be dehydrated. So I'm telling you that we're giving you an opportunity to hydrate tissue. So once this session is over, just really get a renewed opportunity to hydrate tissue. And it's not just water. It's going to be getting the water in, getting the electrolytes in. There should always be a component of electrolyte throughout your day, but you also have to be moving throughout your day. Okay, one more time. Left side, we're going a little bit lower up into that high hamstring, but it's lateral high hamstring. So we're just working through that. You can get tight more often than not. If you ride a bicycle and you're running, you're going to get tight in external rotation, because that's just how we interact with gravity and ground. So we want to just free up the lateral aspect of the tissue so that you have the freedom to strengthen and just enhance function into internal rotation of the hips. Does that make sense? So we're just working that lateral part of the hip on both sides, down into that high hamstring. Maybe feel a little bit of the IT band, but if you've been with me for a while, you know that I almost never go after the IT band, especially with this tool, this foam roller. So right now we've got the foam roller right below the shoulder blades. Let's go hands behind the head, support the neck, and just a nice extension of the spine. Nice and easy. And then just a nice toggle to make sure that that thoracic spine is moving really nicely. Right here, we know that breath is also a component of thoracic spine mobility. So when we have the chance, we want to go ahead and take a big breath, fill the lungs, and see if we can expand the rib cage, not just laterally, but also front to back. So we get that 360 degrees of thoracic spine mobility. Okay, the trigger point ball, if you have one, we'll spend a little bit of time with it in the coming weeks, but just know that I want you to have one of those. Okay, or you can use a smaller ball like a lacrosse ball, but it's just going to be a little more specific. So the ball will give more of a specific line to enhance, again, tissue opportunity for hydration, but also just that gentle pressure to hopefully downregulate some of the nervous system and release some of the tension in tissue. All right, just working through that lateral half kneeling, pushing the hips back, working the hinge from this position is just going to be a little bit more focus on that inner thigh, those adductors. You can start back here with your hands in your hips, and then we kind of grow it into hands out front. And just moving. It's Mobility Monday, right? So we want to just see the smoothness of how you're moving. So we just might start it here. We're not trying to stretch. We're really not trying to go to end range either. We're just making sure that we have this hinge and we're assessing what kind of tension am I getting on right side and left side of that inner thigh. Just nice and easy. Add the hands. Let's go 8 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think that's about even, 7, and 8, and good. All right, so let's take it, shake that out just a little bit. I feel like I'm kind of close to you guys today. Go into that wide stance, and we want to work the hinge from this position. And again, we're getting a little more length through the adductors. We can do some gliding, nice and easy, but more importantly, let's work that hinge again. Hips back, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go 8 reps, 6, keep going. See that spine angle? It's nice and strong, chest is tall, ribs are open, and 8. So just rhythm and timing with the hinge. All right, down onto one knee. If you cannot find comfort in this position, just do the movement from a split stance with the knee not on the ground. Okay, so hopefully by now this is like second nature to you guys. I can pretty much do this on concrete now. So half kneeling, and all we're going to do is take the arms straight out to the side. So we've got the right knee up, and we're going to rotate to the right, and then just come right back. So we're turning into the midline. Here we go. 2, 3, let the head go with it. Woo, 4, 5, 6. You want to be nice and stable on the bottom. And right there, this knee is going to want to go out. Keep it into the midline. So we're turning to the right, and the right knee is almost turning to the left. And everything kind of meets in the midline. And this is giving us a little bit of activation of the inner thigh on the side we're turning into. Okay, so down in 90-90, arms are out, and we're just going into this position. And you can see this knee, if it's not working well in itself, we're gonna start to get in trouble a little bit for separation of upper and lower body. And that's a big part of mobility, is your ability to move, whoa, your thoracic spine around your knee. Okay, let's go back into that wide stance. Anchor your stance, so that means heels outside of toes. We're going to go for a bigger hinge. It's okay to have a little bit of rounding of the spine. The spine should flex. This is a flexed spine. This is a strong neutral spine, and this would be an extended spine. So it should do all three, and you should confidently be able to navigate all of the positions. All right? Fingertips, nice and strong, hinge to the back, wide enough stance that hopefully you can get your fingertips to the ground. 2, this is kind of a measuring stick for me to see how tight my hips are, and they actually feel pretty good today. 5, 6, you're just gonna be patient. 7, push those hips back. 8, 8's good. We're gonna go into the hinge, push the hands to the front. We glide to the right, glide to the left. 3, and again, I want to feel the same on the right as I do on the left. Nice and easy. Good. And how the body moves, right? You want that flow. You don't want to have this herky-jerky thing where, ow, that hurts, ow, that hurts. It's really clear when you observe somebody's movement, somebody's mobility, you can really start to tell if they have pain because they move away from pain. Very, very rarely will somebody glide with this butter-like motion when there's pain or tightness or protective mechanisms that are kind of engaged. So that's why desensitizing tissue using the foam roller is kind of a thing, right? Okay, so from this position, right here, we're going to take the foot. You can either have the foot tucked under or you can have it flat. That's totally fine with me either way. The next thing I want to work on is just neutral pelvis. So right here, we'll take the sacrum. We've got the right hip down. We're just working the sacrum down. We'll pull the pubic bone up. We're probably getting a little bit of tightness through the front part of the hip. And then we just want to stack the body on top of that. And that means ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. We're just always coming back to neutral pelvis. We don't want to live in a neutral pelvis, but we need to be able to experience it in a really strong way for as often as possible. So half kneeling is a decoupled pelvis. The right side is definitely a little bit in posterior, and this side is being challenged in anterior. So we want to just pull it into neutral, drop the sacrum, lift the pubic bone, stack the head, nice and strong. Your pelvis is 2 pieces, and ultimately it should move this way. If it gets stuck, it tends to move this way or maybe this way, if that makes sense. All right, we're going back to right knee down. We're going to pull it into neutral pelvis, take the arm up strong, and then we're just going to challenge it just a little bit to that front and just push that left knee over the toe just a little bit. And it's okay to kind of pulse into it just a little bit, but keep pulling the ribs off the hips and just keep reaching up, 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 up. And good. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So we're here, right knees up, left hips down, go into anterior, come into that nice stacked position. Left arm is up, nice and strong. Head is in a nice strong position. Chin is back and in. Head is tall, and we're trying to hold this left side in neutral. Just nice and easy. Good. Reach up as high as you can with that arm. Get long through the lat. The more relaxed your upper body can be, the freer it can be, the energy less expensive. When there's tightness and weakness in the body, energy is very expensive because you're using everything you have to hold yourself up against gravity. So strength is a huge part of mobility. We tend to, think, oh, I'm moving so well. Well, if you're strong enough, you're going to move well and you'll end up being one of the best in the world. Or you'll start to creep up in your age group. But if you're not, you're going to start to crumble and you're going to have to start to work harder and harder for that speed. Okay, let's go into this laying down supine, which is face up position. We've got the feet directly under the knees. If you have tight quads, your feet are going to be way out here. So just pull your feet back. You might feel a little tightness through your knees, and that's okay. It's a safe position to do that. And then just, again, neutral pelvis, a little bit of pubic bone to belly button, flatten the hips, and we just kind of lay in that. And we're just going to keep the nice, there's no space between my low back and the ground. It's nice and flat. And from right there, we're just going to lift up into a bridge and breathe into that. Thoracic spine mobility, while we've got nice stability in neutral, happening through this bridge. Keep breathing. Expand the ribs, 360 degrees, work mobility. And then come back. And as you come back down, I want you to control it, and your low back touches the ground first. This takes all the tension, or most of the tension, out of the anterior part of the hip. So if you have any kind of labral tear issue, or if you have an impingement, you want to create space through the hips on the front side. And I'm working with so many people right now who are dealing with those kinds of issues. So we definitely want to identify that this neutral pelvis into a bridge with neutral pelvis, so your hips are flat, and you need to be able to breathe from this position. Keep your knees in. You can even force them to the midline just a little bit. You'll find you get a greater glute activation when your adductors start to get in the game and switch on. Keep those knees in. 2 more big breaths. And good. From right there, let's just grab both knees, and that's going to pull us into that nice posterior tilt through the pelvis. And then we go 1 knee down, and we can start to march just a little bit. There you go. So super easy. Hip flexion, hip extension, controlled with the hip flexors. Nice and easy. This should not be challenging. And then we're going to go into a nice wide stance with the feet, and we're just going to toggle. Don't force anything. But again, you guys, when you toggle, take a quick look at the screen. When you toggle, this knee needs to be back, and this hip needs to feel open, such that if you want to, you can roll across and really reach up. So this knee is right on the midline. I roll across, I reach it up and over. This is probably one of the most happy positions ever. Nice big reach through the rib cage. And it's a hip toggle with thoracic spine toggle. I've got a special treat for you guys for next week for Mobility Monday. Do not miss it. It probably will be difficult for me to film it live. I'll be somewhere special in the world other than Boulder, which I consider probably the most special place in the world. But I hope you'll tune in next week to see where I am. Peace out. Thanks for joining me. Be good to each other. Be kind. And smile at lots of people. See ya.